In a small town in the countryside, two brothers, Joaquim and Enrique, lived together since they were young and were inseparable. They grew up among the wheat fields, under the watchful eye of their parents, sharing dreams and hopes. However, with the onset of a global conflict, their lives took different paths. Joaquim, the older brother, believed in the importance of fighting for peace and freedom, and enlisted in the army to defend his country. Enrique, on the other hand, disagreed with the war and sought peaceful solutions to conflicts. The news of Joaquim's enlistment shook the family. Their apprehensive parents tried to understand their children's choices. "Mother, how can Joaquim go to war and leave the family behind?" asked Enrique, with tearful eyes. "My son, everyone has their own path to follow. Your brother believes that he must fight for what is right," replied the mother, trying to console Enrique. On the night before Joaquim's departure, the brothers met by the river that ran alongside the town. The full moon illuminated the path, and the wind carried the melancholy that hung in the air. "Brother, I wish you would understand my reasons. I don't want to leave you, but I feel that I must do my part," said Joaquim, sincerely. "I understand, Joaquim. I just hope that we can meet again in a world without war," replied Enrique, emotionally. With Joaquim fighting in the war, the family's routine changed dramatically. The absence of the brother was felt in every corner of the house, and Enrique worked hard to fill the void left by him, taking care of the chores in the field and supporting his parents. The only news of Joaquim came through sporadic letters, which were read aloud to the whole family. Through them, Joaquim shared the difficulties and longing he felt, but also the pride of fighting for what he believed. One afternoon, Enrique found his father on the porch, looking at the horizon with a distant gaze. "Father, what are you thinking about?" asked Enrique, approaching. "I was thinking about your brother, my son. War is a heavy burden for all of us," replied the father with a sigh. "I miss him too, father. But I have faith that he will return home soon," said Enrique, trying to comfort his father. Meanwhile, in the town, residents were divided in their opinions on the conflict. Some supported the war efforts, while others clamored for peace and reconciliation. The debates were heated, and Enrique felt increasingly involved in the search for a peaceful solution. One day, he received a letter from Joaquim, which contained a different message from the others. In it, the brother talked about a possible truce and the hope for a more peaceful future. "Enrique, you always believed in peace, and perhaps you are right. We, soldiers, also wish for a world without conflicts. Maybe we can find that path together," wrote Joaquim. Joaquim's letter brought a wave of hope to Enrique and his family. Excited by the possibility of a truce, Enrique became even more involved in discussions about peace in the town. Enrique and other residents formed a group dedicated to promoting peace and reconciliation between the conflicting sides. They met in the central square, where they organized debates and cultural events that united the community. On one of these occasions, Enrique met Isabella, a young activist who also sought peaceful solutions to the conflict. Together, they realized that they shared the same ideals and dreams for the future. "Enrique, we have to show people that war is not the only answer. We can build a better, fairer, and more peaceful world," said Isabella, with conviction. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Joaquim faced the adversities of war. The letter from his brother gave him the strength to fight for his ideals and his fellow soldiers, but also fueled the hope of returning to a quiet life with his family. On a cold, starry night, Joaquim wrote another letter to Enrique, sharing his thoughts on the truce and the prospect of peace. "Dear brother, I have been following your efforts for peace and I am proud of you. I believe that together, we can make a difference," wrote Joaquim. Enrique and Isabella's efforts began to have an effect in the town. The community started to support the cause of peace, and a sense of unity spread among the residents. However, the war continued, and despair grew by the day. At home, the family received fewer and fewer letters from Joachim. Concern was constant, but they all remained firm in their faith that he would return soon. One day, Enrique and Isabella were called to participate in a meeting with political and religious leaders of the town. They would have the opportunity to present their ideas to achieve peace and reconciliation between the conflicting sides. "Isabella, we need to prepare ourselves. This is our chance to make a difference," said Enrique, determined. On the eve of the meeting, a letter from Joachim arrived at the brothers' home. The letter revealed an imminent battle that would put the lives of all the soldiers, including Joachim, at risk. The news shook Enrique, who felt even more pressure to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. "I need to help my brother, Isabella. I can't let him face this battle alone," confided Enrique, distressed. "Enrique, together we will convince the leaders to seek peace. Your brother and all the other soldiers depend on us," replied Isabella, holding Enrique's hand. On the day of the meeting, Enrique and Isabella were nervous but determined to fight for peace. They passionately presented their ideas and arguments, trying to convince the city's leaders to seek a peaceful solution to the conflict. "Gentlemen, we cannot allow more lives to be lost in this war. We must find a way to join our forces and seek peace, for the sake of everyone," argued Enrique, with a firm voice. The leaders, after listening carefully to the words of Enrique and Isabella, decided to give peace a chance and began negotiations with the enemy side. The news spread quickly through the town and reached the battlefield, where Joachim and his companions were preparing for the imminent battle. The announcement of the truce brought relief and hope to the soldiers, who now glimpsed a return home. "Joachim, have you heard the news? Peace has finally come," exclaimed a soldier, embracing his friend. "Yes, I heard. And I know that my brother played a big part in it," replied Joachim, with a proud smile. After the end of the war, peace reigned in the town and in the hearts of all those involved. Joachim returned home, and the family gathered in an emotional celebration. The joy and love of the brothers and Isabella were contagious. Enrique and Isabella continued their work in the community, helping to rebuild what the war had destroyed and promoting unity between former enemies. Over time, the wounds healed, and the bonds between people grew stronger. Joachim, grateful for the efforts of his brother and Isabella, decided to join them in their mission. The three worked tirelessly to ensure that peace would last and that history wouldn't repeat itself.